Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Mama Genius Hub podcast. We're here today. If you're exhausted from trying to get it all right business, right parenting, right decisions, but maybe it's not about doing more. Maybe it's about actually doing what's aligned with you. That's what Moira discovered when she was on a road trip with her son and tuned into a lesson in emotional decision making that shifted everything. As a human design based branding consultant and full time road schooling mom, Moira brings a deep personal lens to helping moms lead their lives with authenticity on their own terms. If you are tired of the hustling your own way, motherhood, business, all of it, this episode invites you to slow down, listen in, and finally build your own blueprint. So excited to bring more up today. Mamas, welcome to the Mama Genius podcast, where real stories spark real transformations for moms ready to bring their visions to life. I'm Michelle DeKaiser, a mom of three, entrepreneur, and your biggest cheerleader if you've ever felt pulled to create something bigger, whether it's a business, a book, or a movement, but also felt the weight of daily life slowing you down. You are not alone. In just 15 minutes, we'll dive into insights, strategies, and real stories for women like you. Let's bring your visions to life, starting now. Moira Mills is a consultant in strategic marketing and human-based design branding and helps entrepreneurs and family build businesses that align with who they truly are. A certified rofer and road schooling mom, Moira combines over 20 years of entrepreneurial experience with deep understanding of human design to guide clients towards clarity, confidence, and growth. Who wants that? She's a founder of South Path Branding, where she uses energetic alignment and unconventional strategies to help others break free from outdated norms and create brands that actually feel good to run. Moira is currently traveling full-time with her son and building a movement around alternative education, deschooling, and family entrepreneurship. I can't wait to get into this conversation, Moira. Welcome to the podcast. So excited to have you on today.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Well, I just have to dive into this decision of yours, and that I'm assuming that's your why behind what you're doing and all of that. So I'd love to hear more.
Oh, yeah. I've always loved traveling. I didn't get to travel a lot as a kid. And as soon as I turned 18, I knew that I wanted to spend a lot of time traveling. And so hitting the road with my son was a kind of a no-brainer once he got to a certain age. And I have just really been loving it.
I love it so much. So what's your favorite place you've been so far? I have to ask.
It's kind of a toss-up between Charleston, South Carolina. We've mostly been staying in the States. Charleston, South Carolina, Jacksonville, Florida, and Charlotte, North Carolina. And we can't pick which one's our favorite. But we love them all, awesome. So we kind of rotate between.
I'm with you too. I'm a traveler, love traveling. I'm actually on Tuesday leaving for Vietnam, which we may or may not be moving to. So we'll see.
Amazing. Top of my son's list is Japan. He is.
Oh, I love Japan.
He is.
Yes, committed. You need to go.
Yes, we are going to. Hopefully next year. We'll see.
In 2008 to 2009, my husband and I took a year off when we got married, and we traveled 42 different countries.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So we got the travel bug. We'll have to have more conversation about that. But let's dive into this idea of the decision making and that clarity that comes with all of this, because it really is. We were talking right before we got on the podcast. It really is about deciding the ways that that flow for you to get the things out that you need. So I'd love for you to take a step. How do we identify that?
Well, for me, the best tool that I've found is human design, and specifically one that pulls from sidereal astrology. And because you're right, it's making a decision about what we're going to do is that first doorway into action. And we always hear that people are different from us. But when all we have is our own experience, it's hard to try on what that actually looks like in day-to-day life. And so for me, finding human design a few years ago was such an eye-opener to this gives me words to explain how my son and the other people in our lives are different. And so I can understand and appreciate those differences instead of getting frustrated with them and it creating challenges.
All right, I want to take this in two directions first. But the first direction we're going to do is just kind of how did human design help you a little bit with your relationship with your son and that understanding. And then we'll move on to the business aspect. But I want to make sure we cover both as much as we can.
Okay, so for my son, there's a couple moments that were just really aha moments for me. But one is we're traveling a lot, and around Christmas time, we had just driven from Charleston to Lexington, Kentucky. We got back and we had this opportunity to go to South Florida. We were in Charleston, and my son makes decisions differently than I do. And I started to understand what that meant. So I can make very quick decisions. If you ask me if I'm interested in something, my gut is like yes or no pretty quickly. He also has that, but he's what's called an emotional authority, which means he has an emotional wave. He takes a little more time to make decisions. And sometimes that's a few hours, sometimes it's a couple days. So this was such a great like example of this, where we were in cold South Carolina in the middle of the winter, and we had this opportunity to go to South Florida. And his first response was, yes, like I can get in the water there. It'll be fantastic. Let's go. And I was like, well, it's a 5-hour drive one way. Like, why don't we sleep on it? I knew that I was ready for the drive, but like, let's sleep on it. Let's see how you feel in the morning. And the first words that came out of his mouth the next morning were, Mom, I don't want to drive that much again. And he was able to just set in the emotion of that and recognize he really wanted to. But after it settled a little bit, he was not interested. Now, before I would have went, he's excited about this. Let's go. Let's make the plan. I've got the energy. And we would have went, and it would have been a challenging phase, I think. Where now we got to decide, no, we're just going to stay home. Another time will happen. It'll work out then. But to be able to give that space to him, and it's hard because until I had the words of human design, I would have jumped right in because I thought, well, he seems excited. I'm excited. Like, sure, we're both the same. And this really helped me see that we're pretty similar, but this is kind of a big shift, a big difference between the two of us.
It's really just making my brain like go ping, 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 because I can see that the decision making, like my husband's the precise one. I'm the one who would be more of the like emotional, but my son takes a lot more after me in terms of that emotion and that. But then my middle daughter takes directly after him. And like, so I can start to see how having that wording would really be beneficial.
It really helps. Yeah.
So now that we're really focused on, so what are some of the tools or things? So for instance, how do moms start to identify that even if they haven't done human design yet, or is there a tip that can get them started down that road?
So the very foundational piece, there's so many layers to human design. The very foundational piece is what's called strategy and authority. So it's how we show up in the world and how we're making decisions. So as an example, I'm a generator. We're about 70% of the population. I respond to things. So if I look back over my life, I can't initiate things. So I'll have an idea and I'll think, oh, that's a great idea. I should go do that. I have energy to do it. And generally that will not work out for me. I'm really designed to being presented with an idea and then respond to that idea once it's presented to me. So it's to pull, basically the tool is to pull the chart and to look, don't get overwhelmed with all of the different elements of it because it's a lot. Just look at strategy and authority. That's kind of your entry point, because then you can look at everyone in the family, you and your partner, you and your child, you and your business partner, and you can look at how is our strategy and authority aligned or different. That's the place to enter.
I love it so much. We'll be back in just a moment.
Are you a mompreneur who feels a fire to create something bigger, a business, a movement, a message, but you don't want to do it alone? That's why I've created the Mama Genius Hub, a space where your vision is nurtured, your voice is heard, and your dreams grow alongside a supportive community. Inside the hub, you'll get bite-sized insights and strategies in 15-minute sessions. A community of like-minded moms who truly get it. Support to bring your vision to life without burnout. If ready to build your business and impact while staying true to yourself, join us today at connectingmamas.com. Your calling matters. Let's grow it.
Now we're looking kind of at the relational aspect of human design. I'd really like to jump in now. How do we take that and put that onto our business, and either in our branding or the way we make decisions in our business as well?
Yes, that is so powerful. And that's been a lot of fun for me to work with people on that, because we get these marketing ideas saying this is like a one size fits all everyone. And it generally doesn't really work that way. And so you use that strategy and authority to how you show up in your business. There's a lot of different elements in the chart that can give you insights into how to do that, but just your strategy and authority. Like an example is I'm designed to respond to things. So I'm not out looking for clients or trying to get clients in a way, because it's generally not going to work for me. I present myself as this is who I am, and then I trust that the people that need to find me will be drawn to me. Where there's other people who they can have an idea about something and initiate and kind of inform the world of what their ideas are. That's how they're designed to work. So there's only 4 to 5 energy types, but when you can really hone in on what that is for you, it gets rid of all of the unnecessary stuff that we don't need to be wasting our time with, because ultimately it's not bringing in what we need.
Now, before before the podcast entered, you mentioned a little bit about there's different types of human design. I'd love for you to like pinpoint that a little bit more, because that was really intriguing.
Yes. Okay. So human design brings together several modalities. So you have astrology, the I Ching, the chakra system, the mystic side of Judaism, the Kabbalah. But the foundation of astrology, you can pull charts from a couple different versions. So you have tropical and sidereal astrology, basically. Tropical is what we use in the Western world. It's based on the seasons. Sidereal is what the rest of the world uses. That's based on what's actually in the sky. So the moment you're born, if you looked at the sky, sidereal is what you would see. Those two charts used to be aligned hundreds of years ago, but because the earth is on an axis, things have shifted. Sidereal has adjusted to that. So I find that pulling the chart based on your sidereal speaks much more to your soul's purpose for being here. And I find it much more accurate to who you are, like who your soul is here to be. But it can be, there's only one place that we can pull charts using the sidereal, but I think it's a really powerful distinction for us to start making more.
I love that so much. So now that we're looking at this human design we looked at the decision making of the child, and now we're looking at the branding. What is a tip that you would suggest for a mom to start looking into, and something that she could do today to help really align with who she is?
So I think to begin with, we have all of these shoulds hanging over us. Like we have this list.
None.
Right. All of these lists of shoulds. And I think the first step is saying, like, maybe these things don't align with who I am, because before you get into pulling the chart and kind of delving into that, it can be a bit of a project to kind of recognize your body's already telling you what you're aligned with in many ways, and kind of who you are. So I think being willing to kind of shed those shoulds a little bit and give yourself a break and have kindness for, who you're here to be. And then I think jump into pulling the chart and seeing how it's showing up in your life, and how it's showing up in the people in your lives too.
That's amazing. We're unfortunately running out of time. So can you tell everyone how they can get a hold of you, or if you have a free gift for the audience, please share.
Absolutely. MoiraMills.com is my main website, but I'm offering a free gift of pulling your chart for you. The website is 5minutesoulread.com. And if you go on that, you can enter your birth date, time, location. It's the same thing as astrology. And I will pull your chart for you, and I will record a little 5-minute voice memo explaining kind of the basic foundational pieces of that.
Well, everyone's got to take that offer up. I mean, right then and there, you can get your chart pulled and see where you're at and what your decision making can be. And so I'm going to put you backstage for a moment as we go through some wonderful takeaways from today. Wow. So first of all, we're looking at the design tool of human design, which can help us with our decision making, figuring out what is the types of decisions we make. Sometimes we're wondering, like, why can't I do things like that person, or why can't I do? So maybe figuring out where we are in that. And I love how she put that it gives you the words to have that conversation and that understanding of how it works and how your children might work as well as your spouse. That might be a good one too to check into as well. And then number 2, our takeaway is really looking at the first strategy of authenticity, and showing up, and really just that those are the first things to pull from the chart, and really taking note of that and looking at how your family, each member of your really does that to help with that decision making and see how you can make changes with that. And if I communicate on that one more, fix me on that one. And then number 3 is really looking at the different types of energy. She said that there's 4 to 5 different energies out there. So it's really identifying where you are and really getting rid of those necessary shoulds, right? We have different energies, different ways of doing that. And when we start to really listen to our body and the way that we show up and the way that we align, that's a really great way to do it. And we'd love for your final takeaway today. Or if I don't know if I got number 2 wrong, because I was like, my notes didn't come up very well.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, I think the takeaway is just that you are perfect exactly the way that you are. We hear that though, but what do I do with that? And how do I use that in my day-to-day life? So you know that you are designed exactly the way that you're supposed to be, and a little understanding and acceptance of kind of how you move through the world can do a world of good.
And just one final thing is I love how she broke down the 2 different ways of human design. So go to her website, check out and get that other reading to see if it matches with, if you've already even had one before. It can't hurt. She's doing it for free. So check that out, and we'll see you all on the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
That's a wrap for today's episode, Mama. I hope you found something in these 15 minutes that sparked action towards your dreams. Remember, your purpose matters, your dreams are valid, and you are not alone. If today's conversation spoke to you, come join us at the Mama Genius Hub, where you'll find support, strategy, and sisterhood to turn your calling into real impact. Let's grow this together at connectingmamas.com. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. If this resonates with you, share it with another mom here who needs to hear this. We'll see you next time.